to my channel. It's day 16 since my relapse and day 24 of my recovery journey. I will be counting it from 16 now. It's crazy, I can't believe it's been more than 2 weeks since I used. I feel really happy and blessed to be here. I'm quite proud of myself for that. I haven't been able to make it to any more face-to-face meetings, but I have been making loads online and I've been going to recovery meetings every single day as much as possible. I actually managed to find a couple of other people like me who were using for physical pain, so it's been really good to share our experiences and know that I'm not the only one, and hopefully these videos will help somebody with chronic illness who is using drugs to cope with their physical pain. It's almost Christmas. I'm still quite stressed about buying presents and Christmas Day, having to spend all the different days of the Christmas holiday period with different friends and family members, and it kind of feels like I'm just trying to plan everything to please other people, and I end up seeing lots of people that I don't even really want to see, and I can't see one person without upsetting another person, so that's quite a stressful time. But luckily I've timed it so I can see all the friends that I want to see. I am back at my parents' house. It felt quite depressing at mine when I went there for just a night or two, so I've decided to stay here until Christmas unless everyone does my head in by then, by which point I'll obviously go back to my house. I am finding it quite hard still to stay sober when I'm at mine, especially when I'm on my own, because the temptation is just there egging away at me, but I feel completely sober now and I'm going to try and just focus on the positives and keep reminding myself of my goals every day, and that seems to be working. My stomach's been horrendous still, and it's been 12 days now since I've eaten, so I've still been fasting, but I've been clear liquid fasting instead of water fasting, so my stomach still feels like it's getting better because of not eating, but I'm still having enough sort of liquids in the day to be getting a few calories and not feel like I'm dying completely. So I've been living off black coffee, black tea, green tea, a couple of energy drinks that are sugar free, and a stock cubes in boiling water as soup, and that's hopefully keeping me in a fasted state, but also not enough food to be missing out on any of the benefits of fasting. And hopefully by doing it this way I'll be able to go for longer than a few weeks, and I can hopefully go until my stomach's better. I'm feeling obviously quite lightheaded and sick from not eating, but the hunger's pretty much gone now. I'm just trying to cope with the lightheadedness and weakness. My stomach pain has started to go away a lot since fasting, and because I gained weight before starting this fast unintentionally, I had at least an extra 10 pounds to lose before I was at my lowest weight anyway through fasting, but it's a side effect of not eating, unfortunately. I'm going to call the doctors tomorrow and tell them, hey, it's been 12 days now actually since I've been able to eat. The bleeding stopped but the pain's still there. Please can I have this medication that Picolax, which will completely empty me out. The doctor said about a week ago when I phoned them that if my stomach was still this bad in a few days, then I could call them back and they could give me the medication. But I think it will surprise them when I call them and say, hey look, still here, 12 days, still can't eat. And hopefully they can give me it, and it will give me a reset and a restart of my digestive system so that hopefully the pain will go. My mental health's actually been okay. I haven't been psychotic, the voices have gone away for now, and I feel a bit down but not too down. I think now that the pain's easing up because of the fasting, that's making my mental health a lot better. I still feel quite anxious and I'm up most of each night, but the pain's going away, so my mental health's getting better. And yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. I will check back in a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's day 23. I apologise for not checking in for quite a few days. I can't believe I'm 1 week away from 30 days clean. I feel really happy about that. It's Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas everybody for tomorrow. I hope everyone's having a nice time. I know it's quite a hard and stressful time for most of us dealing with families, especially for those of us who aren't quite close during the rest of the year. I've had money to spend on presents which I wouldn't have had a few months ago due to my addiction, so I'm happy about that. I've continued with my Narcotics Anonymous meetings. I've been going every day online, and I've been finding it really helpful actually, which I'm really surprised at because I was always so against Narcotics Anonymous. I thought it was just a cop-out for people who weren't strong enough to take responsibility for their own actions and drug use, but it's really been quite helpful for me. I'm wearing a Christmas t-shirt that my mum got me. I think it's quite cute. I did try not to get emotional whilst writing Christmas cards, but I ended up writing quite a long card for my mum and dad, as well as one for my siblings, to just say that I'm sorry for all the shit I've put them through recently with my mental health and my heroin use, and that I'm thankful to have them in my life, which I am. I still feel very mentally struggling, not broken, but I still feel like I'm struggling a lot, and that's something I'm hoping to change in the new year. The mental health team did call my mum finally, so they're supposedly looking at getting me some treatment in the new year, but we'll see. I really don't believe them and I don't trust them further than I could throw them. They've really let me down in the past, so I am trying to be there for myself and get better my own way, but it's obviously not easy without help, especially when you've got all the mental health conditions that I have. Currently, I'm diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, bipolar manic depression with manic psychotic episodes, post-traumatic stress disorder, bulimia nervosa, anorexia atypical because I was never skinny enough, but I still struggle with the binge, purge and restricting behaviours of anorexia and bulimia. I also have been told by psychiatrists and by other medical professionals that they think I've either got ADHD or autism, maybe Asperger's, but it's so hard to get diagnosed in females, especially those of us that present with atypical symptoms, which most females do, especially sort of high functioning, although I hate that word because it gives the opinion that I function highly, which I don't. But I was always convinced until recently that my autism symptoms were just down to my severe mental health, but because my mental health symptoms started so young, I'd say at about 8 to 9 years old, it's hard to tell whether it's autism or not, because autism would have obviously presented throughout my young childhood and not just into teen and adult years. However, my mental health started so young that I can barely remember not suffering with mental health, so it's very hard to say if it is mental health conditions that I have or if it's an underlying neurotypical brain. I have decided not to drink alcohol throughout the holidays. I went to a pub today to see friends for Christmas Eve, as I'm no longer hosting a party for New Year's Eve because I don't trust myself not to get on it. And my pain has been horrendous, so I have been self-medicating with morphine, but it's better than heroin. I'm working on getting the doctors to prescribe me it myself so that I can just be on my prescribed medications. But I spent about 4 hours in the pubs today and didn't drink not one drop, so I'm really proud of myself for that, because it always turns into a massive messy party that goes on until daylight in the winter, so I'm really glad I didn't drink. I'm struggling with the concept of quitting my medication because I want to be off my mental health meds because they're not good for your body long term, and it's been great for the few years it has helped for, but I've been on them non-stop for 6 years now, and I have a friend who's just turned 30 and now has a brain tumour behind her eye, which has been caused purely by being on antipsychotic meds for less than 10 years. I don't want that to be me. It's obviously really bad for your body, and that's not to scare anybody who is on those medications into quitting them. Please always consult with your doctor. I'm not professionally or mildly qualified or trained in any of the subjects I talk about. These are just my personal experiences and beliefs, and I'm sure she's a rare case. I don't know anybody else who's been on antipsychotics who has suffered the symptoms she has, but it's just a very scary thought that that could happen to me, and God forbid losing my sight all my life. And despite how suicidal I can get, I want to be here for a long time. I do. I always write New Year's resolutions, even though it's something I find we grow out of as we get older, but I'm going to write them again this year, and the biggest one that's most important to me is setting up my business, getting off my feet, getting off benefits and getting up my business. I have so much interest in my business already, even though it's not online yet for people to see, and I just know that if I had business cards and a registered website, whenever it comes up in conversation and members of the public ask me about it, how cool would it be to just give them a business card and say, here, this is my website, here's where you can buy this. And not only because I want to make my family proud, but I want to have enough money. I don't want to be having to go to the food bank or having to pick between food, gas and electric and then still not even having money for the one that you picked. I want to have my own house. I want to have a car. I want to be able to go on holiday once every few years and be able to bail my friends and family out when they're in debt, when they need an extra £100 because their water bill came out and now they can't afford to eat for a week. I managed to stick to my fast for 12 days, which is a very long time. It was more leaning towards a clear liquid fast than a complete water fast, but the 12 days I stuck to it made such a difference with my physical health. I know that if I managed to stick to a 30-40 day one, it would probably fix me and I wouldn't have to go through all this pain that I'm in now. So that's my plan. I'm still trying to wean onto it, I guess. I'm still clear liquid fasting with maybe 100 calories of regular food per day. I had one Forta juice shake today, which is 400 calories, but it's got a lot of nutrients in it. And the calories is just because I want to be eating little enough to feel the benefits of fasting even when I'm not fully fasting. Although if you've suffered with eating disorders or any kind of body dysmorphia about your size and weight, I really suggest not counting calories unless you're doing it to make sure you're not eating a ridiculous amount. I have stopped weighing myself because it just upsets me, because when I'm not in an episode I always gain weight, which is great, but now I've lost so much weight it's really out of my control, and unfortunately it is a side effect of not being able to eat anything when you've got a stomach condition. And I'm sick of other people, mainly family members and friends who haven't seen me for a long time. I'm sick of everybody commenting on my weight and saying I look disgusting, you look too thin, because they're not used to it. They're not used to seeing me this size. I've lost 100 pounds or 6 stone. And I know my illness and this fasting, which I'm being forced to do, I guess, as a last hope from my illness and condition. I know it's going to take another 30-40 pounds away from me, and I can't be unhappy with my body after that. I couldn't even imagine going through all that work and all that pain to hopefully get my stomach better, to then just feel ugly and paranoid and self-conscious about my body to please other people. So I'm not going to do that. And body positivity should mean all sizes, including skinny and underweight, especially if it's because of a medical condition, including anorexia, including mental health conditions, because you can't help what size you are, whether that's too big or too small. And I think everybody should be able to feel beautiful, strive for health, and if health's not within your reach because of whatever reason, then I think you should still be allowed to feel beautiful about your body. So one of my New Year's resolutions will be to stop listening to other people's negative or unhelpful opinions, including thinking I'm too skinny or any comments related to my weight and size. And I think it will do me good to accept my new body and just accept that this is going to be the way it is now. And as long as I feel better and I feel healthy, like I can get up and do things in the day, even if I end up on total parental nutrition, which is not eating at all and having nutrition that goes into your veins directly into your bloodstream, even if I end up on that, I'd feel healthier and I wouldn't be in as much pain, so I'd be able to get on with my life in the daytime, go out and do things, drive, work, all these things. And so what if I weigh 6 stone to do that? It's not my fault and I'm not going to feel guilty about it anymore. I'd really like to go to more in-person Narcotics Anonymous meetings in the new year. I hope they'll continue with the Zoom meetings after COVID and lockdown is all finished. But without the lockdown and the pandemic, I really don't think we would have had all this access to recovery meetings online. And what a great thing that is, that you can log on any time of the day or night and know that somebody is going to be hosting a meeting in one country or another, and you can log on from anywhere in the world and have people to talk to who know what you're going through. And I just find that absolutely amazing and incredible. What a time for me to be quitting, where all of this help is available. I feel so blessed to have that and thankful to all the amazing people that I'm meeting on these places. And I have come across a few others like me now, at least 4 or 5 other people that had a physical illness, including the ones I have, and were using heroin to cope with their pain. I really do need to start doing videos on this, because if it was prescribed as a medication legally, I think it would be a lot harder to get an addictive problem to it, because it's not so much the drug itself when you're battling an addiction to something that's illegal, it's all the bullshit that you have to do to get hold of that drug and all the risks you have to take that drug, because it's manufactured in a way that doesn't have to go past any guidelines because it's completely illegal. And I still maintain the opinion that all drugs should be legalised. Anything illegal that's not harming anyone, such as consensual escorting and consensual drug use for over 18s, say, for anybody who's capable of consenting to use it. They could put so many restrictions and regulations in place to not only make it safe to use, but make it attainable enough that people wouldn't have to sell their souls to get hold of it. People wouldn't have to live in crack houses and end up homeless and in debt to really dangerous people, and the actual drug manufacturers would have to pass so many safety guidelines to be able to get their drug out there that it would be the safest thing ever, and there'd be no stigma attached to it, so people wouldn't have to hide it and do it by themselves, which is the biggest risk when it comes to overdosing, especially on opiates such as heroin and any IV drug use, because you feel so embarrassed that you don't want anyone to see you like that, so you do it by yourself and often don't even tell anyone that you're doing it. So if you do have an overdose or some kind of medical emergency, there's no help coming. How many lives would be saved if there was a safe house where you could pay to spend the night to do your drugs safely, where there'd be a nurse checking on people every 30 minutes or something? 2022 is going to be my year, hopefully. I know I've said this every year and I'm sure all of us do, but wherever you are in your life, whatever's bothering you or making it hard for you to do the things you want to, just keep fighting and turn your dreams into plans. So then we turn our can'ts into cans. Anything that's stopping you at the moment, rather than doing what I do a lot of the time, which is just, I wish this would go away, or when I'm better, I'm going to do this. When this has changed, I'm going to do this. Instead of doing that, I think it's about learning to manage what you do have in your life and with your health, and learning to do those things that you want to do in the future, finding a way of doing them now within your capability. So for me, that would be starting up my business plans by setting 20 minutes a day. That's something I can do no matter how sick I am. I can force myself and work past the pain for 20 minutes of every day. And that's really not that much, but it will add up, and I could be ill forever. This could be my life now. I've wasted 4 years being unable to do anything, and I do not want to waste any more life. I just can't. I can't live like this anymore. I refuse to let it beat me. I had a friend today that I went to see in one of the pubs for Christmas Eve, and I was kind of rocking and talking like really shakily, and he could tell I was in pain, and he said, well, why did you come out then? And I said, because I didn't want to upset anyone, and I'm sick of letting my illness rule my life. And he said, well, wouldn't that make you worse? And I was like, well, maybe, but I'm not going to be any sicker by going out because I am so sick at the moment. And all I'm going to do if I stay home is waste life, waste weeks and months and years. And I'm not going to be any better in 2 weeks. I might not be any better in 2 years. So from now on, I've really been trying to just go out and do stuff every day, even if I feel like absolute death, and even if it fucking kills me and puts me in bed for 3 days, at least I went out that day. I know Christmas is going to be really hard for me physically on my health conditions. I haven't been prepping for it very well. I haven't been sleeping enough. I haven't been eating, and my medication is very mixed. I could be taking all my meds I'm supposed to one day, nothing the next day, and then 3 times as much the next day, and that's really not a good idea, and it's something I'm trying to change. But Christmas Day, Boxing Day, which is the day after for you Americans or anyone that doesn't have that, and then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, those are all going to be full of family. Even if I don't drink alcohol or eat, which is what I'm planning, being around all those people, having to have conversations, having to sit up, having to get washed and dressed before a certain time in the morning, all of that is going to be so hard on my body and my illness. But I'm mentally preparing myself. It's just a few days, that's all it is, or it's just a week, it's just Christmas week, and once that's over, I can rest. But I'm always going to need this rest, and I'm never going to feel rested. So I'm trying to fight past it, and throughout the next few days I'm going to try working on my business. Even 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, let's do for now, and I'll build it up over time, so then I might be able to do 10 minutes a day, as long as I can do it every single day. And then once I'm able to do that amount of time, say 5 or 10 minutes every single day without missing it, even when I'm ill, then I'll move it up to 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, then an hour, then 2 hours a day. And I think when you're making a business from home, 2 hours a day is so much time to get stuff done. Eventually, I'd love to be working 6 hours a day for myself, work my arse off, and really build a future for myself. Time's precious, life's precious and short, and I want to make so many people proud, and I want to leave a mark here. I want to do something. I want to help people. I know I say in some of my videos that life is pointless and meaningless, and in a way it is. It depends how you look at it, but there's still people here who matter. Everybody matters, and I want to make a difference. Okay, I think that's going to be it for today. It got a little bit dramatic. I apologise. It's day 23 and I'm a week off being 30 days sober. If you are quitting or even thinking about quitting, be proud of yourself. Just start small like I did and tell somebody, because it's a lot easier with help. And I wish everybody a happy Christmas and a happy New Year. Remember, it's a new year. You can make small changes to get the things you want in life and do the things you want to do and spend it with people that matter to you. And that's all life's about. Love and prayers to you all. Mwah. Thank you so much for checking out my channel and supporting me through my journey. Hello, it's day 27 of my recovery journey. I apologise for not checking in over the last few days, but I've been very sick. My stomach's still bleeding. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas and I wish everybody a healthy, happy New Year. Despite my stomach being too bad to eat, I still managed to enjoy Christmas Day and I was very lucky to get some really nice presents. Cute hat, it's one of my presents, and I spent the day with people that I love. It was nice. Boxing Day, which I'm not sure if you celebrate that in America, but here we have that the day after Christmas Day. I think it was originally created to give out presents to the poor. It's basically a second Christmas Day for most families in the UK, so we celebrated that, and it was nicer than Christmas Day for me because I was able to be out of bed and actually enjoy the day. I did feel really bad for being too ill to be a part of anything for most of Christmas and missing Christmas dinner, which is, I guess, the most important part. But I'm glad that everyone's safe and happy and healthy for the most part, and that's all I could wish for any family at Christmas. My mental health has been pretty stable and my physical health is stabilising, but I'm having to fast for that to happen. I've mainly been on a clear liquid fast rather than water fasting, but I am still trying to wean on to complete water fasting. I did end up eating a little bit on Christmas Day. I tried to eat a potato and some cooked vegetables, but it made me so sick and my stomach's now bleeding again that I've had to water fast. So I'm counting my water fast from yesterday. That's when I fully started fasting again. I'm going to try and fast as long as I can and keep going until my stomach's better. I got a letter from the pain clinic today regarding my fibromyalgia and physical health conditions. The pain clinic is supposed to be in place to manage pain of patients with chronic health problems that cause pain, nausea, sickness, all of those other symptoms that I get. And last time I went there, they were really not very helpful, and the whole point of the pain clinic is that they are allowed to prescribe medications for pain that the doctors can't typically prescribe, such as morphine, gabapentin and pregabalin, long-term pain medications. But the last time I went, the doctor that saw me, who was the only doctor at that pain clinic, said, well, I don't believe in medication, so I'm not going to give you any, because she didn't believe in the medication approach. But unless she had the same conditions as me, which I doubt, and even if she did, it's not to say that just because no medication works for her that it could work for me or anybody else. So I'm really not expecting much. I'm keeping my hopes low, but I'm going to push and fight to get morphine or any kind of pain management medication for my chronic illnesses. And I'm hoping that this time, because my parents are going to be more involved, I'm hoping they won't piss me about as much, because it's easy to take the piss out of a 22-year-old, but not when there's parents in the room who are 40s, 50s, with a lot more life experience and experience in knowing how medical professionals are supposed to be treating you. So hopefully I'll get some pain medication, but I'm keeping my hopes and expectations low. The psychotherapy they offer at the pain clinic, I had a couple weeks of the last time I was there about 4 years ago, and it was quite helpful for the few weeks that I managed to get appointments. Hopefully there'll be different doctors there by now, since it was such a long time ago that I was last there, and hopefully there'll be new medical staff who are competent and know what they're supposed to be doing. Hopefully they'll treat me how they're supposed to treat me, which is any way other than how I have been treated. My dietitian is quite worried about my weight loss and my diet because it is so restrictive, and I've told him that I'm fasting, but I felt it really important to stress to the dietitian the reason that I'm fasting, to make sure he separates my physical health from my mental health, because it would be so easy for somebody with an eating disorder to say that they were in pain and blame not eating on that, but that's not what I'm doing, and I just really hope they believe me and can treat me and can see that I'm physically ill and that it's not all in my head. I haven't heard back from the mental health team, but that's as expected. They're really shockingly shit, and it's taking so much to not just say fuck it and ignore them, but I know that I need to fight to get mental health treatment, because although I'm okay now, I know I won't be in a few months or a few weeks. I have episodes that are out of my control due to all my different ongoing mental health conditions, and I need some support in place for when they do happen, so that hopefully I won't upset my family so much by worrying them or getting angry and emotional with them when it's not their fault. I'm not doing anything for New Year's. I wanted to go to the Narcotics Anonymous annual New Year's party, but it's quite expensive to go actually. I'm surprised because I think it's free to get in or very cheap to get in, but it's miles away from me, and the cheapest hotels are hundreds of pounds just for the one night, and I really could not afford that even if I was well enough to cope with the travelling and travelling on trains in a wheelchair. I know I'm not well enough to do any of that right now, so maybe that's something for next year. I'm not planning to drink for New Year's because I can't trust myself to be drunk without getting high at the moment, and I'm doing so well being clean for 27 days, and I want it to become 60 days or 90 days, and I just can't risk it right now. I would like to be able to drink in the future. I don't want to be one of these addicts that can't have a few drinks and then stop. That's not me, and it's, I'm sure, what some people need. And that's why for a lot of addicts, total abstinence is the best thing to do. But for me and a lot of others, I know that when I'm mentally and physically well, I can have a few drinks and then stop and know my limits. And it just takes a lot of time to be abstinent completely before that can happen. I know it's too early, so no drinking for me, no drugs, and it will be the first time I bring in the new year sober. Hopefully I can actually start all my New Year's resolutions on the 1st, working on my business, doing my physio exercises to get my health in control, and writing up a proper plan with my parents of how we're going to get the doctors to treat me, which doctors we need to speak to, which tests I still need doing, which medications I should be on, how I can get all that, because I can't do it myself. And my parents can't do it either. We need the doctor's support, but I need my parents to arrange that for me because I can't fight for myself anymore in regards to my health treatment. And chronic illness is such a bullshit treatment system that I'm not well enough to put myself through that fight again. No way. And I don't want to start my new year off by being told or led to believe by incompetent medical professionals that my pain is all in my head, my symptoms are all in my head, and my starving myself is deliberate because of an eating disorder and not because my intestines aren't working, even when they can see blood, even when that's all proved. My stomach has stopped bleeding for now, but only because I'm fasting, and if I eat absolutely anything, it will bleed my intestines and I will shit blood, and it's so painful, and my stomach swells to like a 6-month pregnancy. Anytime I'm hungry, that's all I remind myself of. And I actually took a photograph before and after I ate, when I'd had a normal day and then I ate and then I was bleeding, and the difference in my stomach size is just so drastic, at least 10 inches due to swelling, but it only seems to swell that bad when I'm bleeding. So I've kept that picture to show the doctors, but also to show myself, to remind myself why I'm fasting anytime I feel hungry enough to want to give up. I have a lot of plans for the new year. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to really start working on this channel, try and help all you guys, because I know if I shared some of my experiences, I'm sure it would help somebody else, because there's a lot of experiences I have that I know other people go through, but I can never ever find anything on YouTube, and there's not one video, for example, about functional bowel disorder. Nobody seems to have it, when I know that's not true. I know a lot of people suffer with that, but there's not one vlog style video on that, so that hopefully should be my first upload outside of my heroin recovery journey. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm sorry I kind of blabbed a bit today. There's not really much to talk about. I feel like I'm speaking a lot but not actually saying anything. So I'm going to cut this for now. I hope everyone's had a nice Christmas, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And if you are watching this at a random time that's not Christmas, I hope you're having a lovely day, and I hope my videos are helpful or interesting at the least. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.